Thank you, Tracy. You don't need a big introduction on me. I want you to know that I'm very glad to be here.
We need you, Jimbo.
I'm glad to be anywhere. People have been after me for so long, I even worry when I go to the restroom. I want to commend each and every speaker here. Not all of them agree with me, and I may not necessarily agree with all they say. But they're Americans. They have the right, and they have the courage to speak out here. And what they've said makes a lot of sense. I'm going to take a couple of minutes before I get into some comments about a couple people here. You know, Dave Johnson is a Republican Party chairman, but he's a great American. I think he's the finest chairman I've ever met in Ohio. And when I hear his account of what happened to Summitville, I get upset. My dad was a truck driver, like Henry said, Henry Nemitz. But he had a lot of common sense, and he said, Jimmy, if you buy more than you sell, you go bankrupt. My God, what's wrong with these people in Washington? They're scared. They're scared to vote. These party apparatus and the pressure they levy on some of these people scares them to death. Their main concern, perpetuity, getting reelected while the country's going to hell. David Johnson deserves some help. He didn't deserve what happened to him here. And there are many, many Americans in similar situations. You know, I was a Democrat all my life. But the Democrat Party opposed me just like the Republican Party opposed me in Washington. But I made a statement once. I don't like this rich against poor, black against white, brother against brother type of politics. And I say this on behalf of David Johnson, Henry Nemitz, who run a business. My dad never worked for a poor guy. We've got to work together. We've got to incentivize American government. So our tax code favors America, not China, not Japan, not Mexico. It's completely out of hand. I want to say a few words about Henry, a little bit off subject here. As you know, I just went through a trial, and I did not use an attorney. People said, geez, maybe if you had an attorney this time, Jim, you'd have done well. It would have been worse. Jesus Christ couldn't have won that case. They did a number on me, but they may end up paying before it's over. But I was at lunch one day, and Henry Nemitz come up to me. He said, Jim, I was up in Cleveland, I had a lot of pressure. And I went along with what they wanted me to do, even though I knew it was wrong. He said, and I feel so damn bad, I got to tell you. Well, when it all worked out, Henry Nemitz was one of the few guys to come forward like that. When Cleveland found out about it, they said, my God, Henry Nemitz might say the truth up here and destroy this case against Traficant. So they didn't call him, they didn't indict him, and they were scared to death of him. Henry Nemitz is an honest guy, and my God, he has a backbone. And if you buy food, you're going to get a fair shake from Henry Nemitz because he's one hell of a guy. That's the way it is. Now I want to get down to business. I was really tickled by this stand-up comedian, this farmer, Mr. Martin. Little does he know that about 15 years ago, I did a 1-minute speech on Elsie. I said, Mr. Speaker, the Environmental Protection Agency wants to put body bags on the back end of Elsie. They claim that Elsie's nocturnal emissions are damaging our ozone. I said, beam me up here. What's next? Scrubbers for cows? I said, I want to close my remarks, Mr. Speaker, by cautioning you that Elsie just may backfire and go about 8.8 on the Richter. Then what do we do? I had fun like that, but it made a statement. And I'm going to share one with you. I hope you're not offended. There's some kids here. My wife worked as a volunteer for domestic abuse where women were beaten. And I really admired her for that. Well, there was an incident that occurred where a woman named Lorena Bobbitt took some matters into her own hand. And my staff is getting bombarded with calls. When's he going to speak about it? When's he going to speak about it? So I think it was about 6 months till I finally made a little statement. In all the years I was in Congress, I never made a limerick, a little rhyme. But I woke up one morning and I had an idea, and I ended up making a little speech that was faxed around the world more than the Gettysburg Address, so help me God. It made the Carson show, it made all the radio shows. I said, Mr. Speaker, there once was a woman from Manassas who got tired of all the hassles, claiming she'd been raped by her spouse in her very own house. Went to the kitchen to get a knife, fully prepared to take her husband's life, but realizing that such a crime would be much too heinous, decided instead to cut off his painless. Now, I said painless, but they used the other word in the congressional record. They were so mesmerized. I said, now, Mr. Speaker, I don't know if this man plays the piano, but from here on out, he'll sing like a soprano. But then, with my wife's tempering, I said, Mr. Speaker, if this man really did rape his wife, maybe, just maybe, he deserved that knife. And then I closed out and I said, I want to yield back any outstanding body parts still unaccounted for. So I had some fun in Washington, but I had some fights. You're being addressed by the only guy that was opposed by both parties. Man, they didn't want me to speak. And if I thought the Democrats were wrong, I told them they're wrong. And I told them they're not acting like my kind of Democrats. And if I thought the Republicans were right, I voted for it. If it was good for America, if it was good for my people, I voted for it. I don't give a damn who was for it or against it. Now, they have all these stimulus bills. They have these stimulus bills. Trillions of dollars in stimulus. Now, I've never been too supported by the media, and you know that. And this mainstream media, well, I better not say it. But anyway, I was in Congress 17 years, and what no one knows, I brought back $1.6 billion without a stimulus bill and had the only 16-plane Air Force Reserve wing in the United States. You didn't need a stimulus bill. You needed somebody down there that says, we're tired of money going to New York. We're tired of it going to California. What about our people in Ohio? You see, that money's going. But you got to take care of your people. When we talk about trade, I get sick.